actually a big match. And I think it's a big one because we know what ends up happening with the head-to-heads going into the later parts of the season, going into playoffs. You want to make sure you have that one-up over these teams that might be near the bottom. So, I mean, this is obviously going to be a massive one. GamersOrigin looked pretty good taking out KC, but now we'll see if Team Oplon have worked on their mid to late game because they actually have been solid in the early stages.
Right, and that's the thing where we see them fall apart. It's that mid to late game here, and I think it's interesting too, even if you don't just look at the scorelines. If we look at the performances of these teams and how things don't start off well, but they've been managing to steadily improve. GamersOrigin, in one of the clips we were even showing, managed to get that win off of K-Corp. I mean, Kareem and Ronaldo going big as that Lee Sin and the Akali, and I mean, that Ravi was highlighting how strong of a pick it is at the moment here. That's why we're seeing GamersOrigin take it out of the picture. So I think this is going to be a big day for both of these teams. Whoever manages to win kind of secures this and gets to continue this upwards trajectory we're seeing them go on, and the other might have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, we're about to find out. It will be interesting to see if Vex makes it through because we know what she did through week one. Has not been banned yet, and it's going to be a Gwen. So the Vex is on the table. We've also talked about a lot of these other picks. Obviously, there's a lot of priority, Corki being one of those. We've seen a lot on Thresh, but I think getting yourself a well-rounded Corki here that has the mixed magic damage and the AD damage, and also has been flexed towards the top side here too. So it is more or less a flex pick coming in for Team Oplon first.
Yeah, and I think just the amount of range, the damage, the setup with the package, it's just such a very highly coveted champion, so it makes sense that Oplon will just put priority on this, especially if you end up putting it in Pang's hands, just because Pang, big player on this team, young, still has a lot of potential, but even the performances we've seen so far are definitely impressive. So just locking down something for him right away, I think is a great thing to start off the draft for Oplon. And interestingly enough, Jinx still available, Aphelios still available here, but it's GamersOrigin actually grabbing the Jhin and Lee Sin instead.
Yeah, a little hover over the Samira. I was getting a little excited. I'm like, are they going to do it this early? Don't see that champion too much, but like you said, the setup here with the Jhin, it's fantastic. Also, it pairs so well with the Vex if somehow they're able to get this here, and I feel like it would be perfect going into the very last pick before phase 2. So we'll see what ends up happening. The Lee Sin, we said that was going to be highly contested. That has come through, and the answer so far has been the Xin Zhao, and now the Jinx here too.
And there it is. We're going to see that again. You just have so much DPS in that later stages of the game. The scaling for Oplon has clearly been set up, but the thing is, we talked about that point in the game being where they struggle. So this, if they can get to this point in a favorable position and actually kind of improve on that objective setup that we've seen them struggle with, I think this will end up working out for them really good. They just need something for Darlik in the top side of the map to allow him to kind of go for the setup here. I think Ornn is probably what we're going to see him go on, especially because more than likely GamersOrigin are going to go for that last pick top to give Vizicsacsi the best matchup they can hope for.
Well, there might just be a lot of tanks banned out here in phase 2. We can already see the first one. Gragas will be taken away. Supports are also potentially going to get pinched out a little bit here going into phase 2 overall. And I mean, that Thresh being taken away, you're figuring out, okay, what do you want to try to pair with this Jinx, especially with Tiger, because he had an excellent performance coming out of last week. I think he was 7-0 on that Jhin before Vitality finally ended up closing out that win here. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to bring. But as we said, more tanks being banned out here. Leona, that will be the next one.
Yeah, and I wonder what the support picks are going to be also. I mean, worth noting, Enjoy last week, monstrous game on the Alistar. Big individual performance. The part of the why GamersOrigin managed to beat K-Corp in the match there, putting K-Corp at 2-2. The set being taken away kind of tells me probably that we're going to see something like an Ornn for GamersOrigin. Maybe they're just going to be able to blind that and just wait till the very last second to get that support matchup. But it's hard to say at the moment here. It depends. Oplon probably going to continue pinching out the support pool just to kind of remove some of the options here. I mean, taking away the Alistar and might be something they could look towards too, and just they could grab Nautilus for themselves. I think it would be a good way to get some hard engage, or rather they don't want to see Nautilus, so they'll just take it out. Yeah, Nautilus is out. Do you have our Cons up and things like this? We'll see if this ends up coming in for this game, and would be great for this setup, but GamersOrigin trying to figure out what do we want to blind. Do we want to grab that Ornn? Sets up very nicely with the engage. I mean, you have also the Jhin to be able to help with that too, adding in those slows here with the curtain call, so there is going to be a lot of potential plays, and it looks like we might just be right here, Beatdown. It's going to be the Ornn that comes through. Dude, it's big. It's because you get it for yourself with the great setup with the Jhin like you're talking about, but you also take away from Oplon, because that would be something they would have really liked to have, I think, when you have Corki and the Jinx going for you here, but instead, they are going to be able to grab that Rakan, and there we're going to see a Scion come through, I think, for the first time. I think every draft where I'm saying you need a tank top, Scion is one of the people that I mentioned. It's a tank top lane matchup. You don't have to worry too much about farm. Scion especially is hard to punish if you end up diving in. That passive lets him end up clearing the farm and getting a lot of the gold XP most other top laners end up missing here. So I think Oplon really set themselves up for a really good front to back here. But NJWave is back on the Alistar, Austin. So with all this engage and disengage potential Gamers Origin have, I think, especially in this mid game, if they manage to get a lot of these fights that they're looking for, and they have a lot of long range engage with Vizicsacsi, I think Gamers Origin have a really good shot here as long as this early game goes their way.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring up Vizicsacsi because last week was one of the first games I think we really looked at him and said, okay, it looks like he's back, right? Because we saw him on Gwen before. He was creating some... And here we go. Match number 1 of week 3. The weeks have been flying by, Beatdown, already here in week 3. And this is one of those matchups that you look at the top, you see 0-4, you see 1-3, and it's like, okay, these are the bottom teams. Well, yes, you're absolutely right, but this, I would say, is a very important match. Gamers Origin, they looked a lot better last week. They upset Carmine Corp, which was an incredible game. NJWave here also back on that champion that he had some incredible individual outplays on. And now Team Oplon, they just need to figure things out in the mid to late game here, Beatdown, because they actually have been so good in the early stages.
That's right, and I think a lot of it has been the objective setup there, as we got a pause. So we'll be right back with that matchup soon. I think the objective setups for Oplon are what's been lacking. When it comes to early game, when it comes to making a lot of these plays, I think they've actually been pretty solid, especially if we look at last week, some of the performances they had. So what are they going to do after this early game? If they manage to get some leads, I think this time around, they do have an easier to execute comp than I think we've ever seen from them here. With Darlik on the Scion, very beefy frontliner, able to soak up a lot of the damage, a lot of the burst, because you talked about it, lack of DPS. Syndra, burst damage. Jhin, a little more on the burst damage side as well. So as we get to those later stages of the game, it's going to be really hard to remove Darlik from the equation here, which is going to give a lot of space to Peng and Tiger, 2 players we've been watching on this Oplon roster.
It will be top starts here for both of the junglers. So might get some scrapping happening down in the bot side, and that has really been something we've seen a ton of, just matching in the 3v3s. I mean, you go back and watch a lot of the LFL matches here for the past couple weeks, and the amount of 3v3s that you see in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game is absurd. So would not be surprised if that happens. NJWave starts the headbutt instead of the pulverize, and gives Tiger a little headbutt there away, as they're already aggressively trading in lane.
Right, again, this bot lane for Gamers Origin really stepping it up last week. Someone to keep an eye on, or 2 players to keep an eye on here as this level 2 comes through. NJWave very aggressive, very big on this Alistar pick, so we're going to see once he hits that level 3 if he's going to be able to kind of sync up with Kareem and make plays around the map like they did before. I think I did highlight in Tram Select 2, Kareem and Ronaldo really did step up. And playing this mid-jungle duo that Lee Sin and Syndra, they do have a lot of early game agency. I mean, Peng, playing Corky. He's going to be waiting some time, get some itemization going, maybe get that tier stacking before he's really going to be able to have an impact. And here it is, already Kareem. He's looking for something in the mid lane.
A lot of setup, and that might be the kill.
Nice.
But it's so well played from Kareem. Goes in there with the flash, gets the auto, and follows it with the Sonic Wave beatdown.
It couldn't get any better from the jungler of Gamers Origin. This is what we're looking for here. Early leads with the early pressure you have for himself. And Gamers Origin, they're on the right track, Austin. They're just going to have to keep this one going. And that means Ronaldo gets a nice back. He doesn't have to commit the teleport if he doesn't want to. He can just walk back or float back to lane as Syndra does. And Peng, unfortunately, had to use his right away.
I love this jungle meta, man. I mean, has there ever been so much early action? We don't always see the kills come in early, but everyone looking to get aggressive. But this does mean that there's an opening for Brunez to come through and actually secure this blue buff. Kareem did not path back to it. Instead, he went towards his top side here to take his golem. So he'll lose out on a bit of gold and XP. Brunez might also maybe go and take a gander at the wolves here as well if he wants to try to push a little bit further. But no, we'll simply take the buff, and now we'll pull off his reset here very early to see if he can get that tempo, but it will be matched here from Kareem as well.
Yeah, ultimately Kareem doesn't know, or rather Kareem's location is not known, even though he went upside. Who knows where he might be pathing back to his wolves. So you don't want to take a chance there, but ultimately, I mean, a buff for a kill. Gamers Origin, you love to see that. That's a really nice start to this early game here with Dragon coming up soon and camps starting to respawn on this bottom side of the map for this Lee Sin. Kareem could make his way down. His bot lane's pushed in. There's an angle for a play to be made, and if so, properly set up by NJWave, that could end up leading towards first Dragon here, because I think if you're at this point where damage in the late game isn't really in your favor, I think you want to start thinking about stacking for these Dragon Souls.
Brunis will, of course, be spotted. It'd be interesting to see
here.
if Kareem wants to come in and say hello. Does tag him up with the Sonic Wave, but able to ward hop away. Now the supports have roamed in for 3v3 in the mid lane, but I think it is just going to be a push out of the wave. Everyone's just going to come pop their heads in the mid lane, but no one's going to engage.
Right, just a little bit of damage, just a little bit of warning from Kareem saying, hey, listen, buddy, I'm watching you. And now I think so far, Brunis, we haven't seen him manage to find a whole lot of openings here. He could go top if he really wants to, set up a play with Darlic, send Vizicachi away. I mean, with those TP changes, you can't TP to the wave anymore. So with the wave in the position it is, he'd actually end up losing a lot of farm if he goes that route. But instead, he's pathing down. Could be playing for the Dragon himself here, as he does have that bot lane that is a little stronger at the moment.
Take a look at the top lane. Not a whole lot going to happen here, but Vizicachi has got himself a small CS lead. Most of this wave should be picked up for Darlic, so he should be a-okay here for the time being. Meanwhile, bot looks like it's starting to actually push out, and now you have Kareem threatening some plays in the bottom river. Is he going to try to make an appearance and bully out Brunis a little bit? The ward is going to spot him, so he's going to know exactly where he is. Brunis now gets to level 5, so we'll be able to match it. But Kareem's just going fishing, man. He's seeing what exactly he's going to be able to catch.
And he might be able to catch something here as well. Vizicachi's looking. Oh,
nice ultimate.
Yeah, that was really nice. To cancel that second proc of that call, the Forge God. But I mean, ultimately, you just have the trade of ultimates here where Vizicachi still has a lot of pressure topside because Kareem going for these invades, applying this pressure onto Brunis. He feels confident he's going to be able to go ahead and start off the first dragon here. And because Smiley and Enja have that wave pushing towards Oplon's bottom tower, it's going to be an easy pickup.
Dragon is going to come through. Kareem's been fairly active through the early stages of the game for the first 6.5 minutes. Enja Wave here to assist them with the Dragon security, and the Scuttle Crab Brunis again hovering around Pang, and this is mainly because he doesn't have that flash up here. Wants to make sure that Pang is safe and sound. Kareem's going to come by as well, and it's just a lot of just everyone matching each other right now. Beatdown emotes going around. Supports might end up roaming up here again. Absolute will be here first. The E will land, but won't be able to follow up here as everyone's just going to go back to farming.
And you know what? This is a big thing that we were talking about actually yesterday on Proving Grounds, Austin. You're playing Xin Zhao, and what is it? 7 minutes in the game, you're 0-0-0. Like, what are we looking at here? You're playing this early game champ, a lot of gank setup, but so far we haven't been seeing it. And listen, like, I know Brunis can do these things. He's done it on the Lee Sin. We saw it last week, but now on this pick, so far, not a whole lot has gone by. He's getting close to that level 6 mark, where usually a lot of Xin players, they're going to have something on the board, even if it is deaths from failed attempts. But so far, we haven't seen any of that from Brunis. And because this early game is so important for Oplon, so that they don't fall behind because they want to stay even since they scale better, I mean, this is not really a good look so far.
Yep, only really getting the blue buff there to punish the play in the mid lane from Kareem, but now Pang has his flashback up, so that could mean that Brunis might be looking to try to attack the side lanes a little more, knowing that his mid laner should be a tad bit safer, but level 6s are coming in. Kareem has already got his. Brunis will now get his as well off of the Gromp, so should make things a little bit easier if you do want to try to set up these plays, or if you do want to try to go for even some of these dives. But Enja Wave, also interesting to know, we've seen Glacial pop up here and there here for us Beatdown, and I don't know if he was running it last week.
He was.
Oh, okay, so I'm a big fan of it, because you get on them, and you have long cooldowns as the Alistar. It's like 10 seconds or so, maybe even longer before you have another cooldown. So it's nice to get that additional slow, especially when you get a multi-man knockup.
Agreed. Now we have this play for the Herald coming through. Package is available, and the Absolute is close by.
Here we go, Ronaldo.
Oh, wow.
In a lot of trouble, and it will be secured here from Absolute with a grand entrance, but it's traded back. Kareem's able to find the jump.
Oh, Vizicachi.
Here comes Vizicachi. Called the foreguard, finds the knockup, and that is going to be a double. Kareem now 3-0 to kick off this game.
Wow, and here I was thinking, this is not favorable for GamersOrigin. The fact that you have Absolute much closer than Enja Wave, who actually wasn't part of this skirmish at all here. But ultimately, Kareem, his kick onto Brunis, keeping him away from his mid laner, allowed him and the rest to be able to just finish the kill. And now both early game objectives in GamersOrigin's favor, and we're going to see it actually in this replay here. Yeah, I was sure Ronaldo was just done, man. You see the package coming through, you see Absolute is close close by, but ultimately it's Kareem. He already gets the damage in with Ronaldo, kicks him in, and finally Wave shows up, but I mean, ultimately he's just here for the formality, the quick little slap, while Vizicachi goes for the knockup.
And because Vizicachi has this lane prio on the top side, you know, basically this entire game, he's able to come first, and he's actually built up a pretty big CS lead here. I think that's one of his first backs because you're able to build your items in lane, and that's going to make things a lot easier. Still the TP, and now he's even behind Darlick here. He might come up and surprise him.
Yeah, the ward will give him away. But yeah, it's been impressive in this top lane. You know, when you see two tanks, you don't really expect one to be heavily dominating the other one, but 30 CS, which is a lot. Just want to hold that thought. Oh yeah, Wave. Sorry, buddy. Unless.
I think he does.
You're kidding me.
Imagine.
Okay.
Imagine a world where he dodges all of the rockets and walks himself out. But Brunes finally gets a kill on the board. Peng's going to do a little bit of abusing as the blue buff is going to be transferred over to Ronaldo. And Kareem also having it means that Peng, he's unfortunately left without a blue buff here. He's just going to have to suffer for the time being, Beatdown.
Yeah, it means it's going to be a lot easier for Ronaldo to stay in lane, keep this lane pushing as he's had a lot of control over it so far. And that early Rift Herald picked up means more gold into the Syndra's pocket. Again, the mid jungle for GamersOrigin really stepping up in this game as well. All this extra gold, 2 plates worth each, does mean they just continue to snowball this lead. You can already see it starting to form now at this 10-minute mark. We're about 1,400 gold in favor of GamersOrigin, and now because of that, they're trying to see if they can move bot. Brunes is here, but I mean, there's no angle.
No angle in. Wave level 6 as well. Going to be very difficult to try and take down if that was their target. Kareem's going to clear it a ward. Might start to set up and prep around this dragon. That's going to be 30 seconds away. That will also be a mountain dragon that is on the table. And Brutus now looks like he's going to pop off a reset. So likely won't be Team Oplon that are able to secure the dragons. And that has actually been a problem for them in the past here through the last couple of weeks. They typically lose a lot of the neutral objectives. They have so far, but let's see, Brunes.
Oh, Vizicachi's
here for this. Vizicachi is here, as you mentioned. The ultimate doesn't exactly find its mark, but Brunes in a lot of trouble. And Kareem finds the kill, but it's traded back. Wave is going to drop 1 for 1 so far. That will be the curtain call, but now no longer able to get in there. And Kareem takes the Sonic Wave over the wall to the dragon and gets himself out of harm's way. But is the fighting done? The knockup is here. Layering the CC. Scatter of the week will be able to lock down Darlick. They play it so smooth, so clean. And GamersOrigin, they find the kills and now can look at the dragon.
And that's an insane move coming through with all the lane priority Vizicachi has had. I mean, the fact that he just walked his way down off a reset to go for this play is something that Oplon didn't expect. I didn't even realize he was there until that call of the Forge God started coming through. I can't even imagine Oplon were prepared for that one. So Darlick just ends up TPing to his death here. No trades able to be made. GamersOrigin continues snowballing this early game. That's dragon number 2. Their gold lead is increasing further. And we can see how this one starts. Brunes, he's hoping he can get an angle here. The problem is, you see that call of the Forge God come off screen. They're committing. They're like, wait a second, what is that?
Yeah, the Forge God is here all of a sudden, and you're just not expecting it. And then Kareem, nice little fancy feet. Looks like he might be locked down. And then, nope, Maku's back up. I'll see you guys later. Darlick also flashed for that to try and interrupt it. And it didn't end up working out here for him. And then, of course, he's now caught out. They layer the CC again, and that is something we talked about. Sure, they lack maybe a bit of DPS later in the game, but when you chain all that CC and you have a lead like this Beatdown, it becomes very easy to play the game.
That's right, and it's been looking pretty easy so far for GamersOrigin. Oplon struggling a little bit. Usually, the early game are one of the best things we've seen from this team so far, but even today, GamersOrigin are dismantling them at every turn here. Now, we're at this point. Mythics are starting to come through. Characters on GamersOrigin really starting to spike here, especially that Ludens for Ronaldo. That Scatter of the Week, it's going to hurt a lot more now, and all the things left to play for here are that second Herald that's going to be coming up shortly, and I don't even think Oplon will have an opportunity to play.
As you can see, Chemtech Dragon still active, still on 12.1 here, ladies and gentlemen. So for everyone that's been looking at the patch notes, been like, whoa, 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 this is supposed to be out of the game. That is not in this patch just yet. So we're still going to have it. Still have to try to play around this vision. A lot more pink wards likely going to come into play. You talked about items. Peng, of course, opting in for the Hex Drinker just to make sure he can survive, which is now going to delay his build even more, being on one of these scaling 80 carries. But Team Oplon, they're now turning their attention to the top side. They're going to make the flip of the map here. Tiger going to be be able to at least get up without any problems with the security of his support in jungle. I don't think you're going to dive a Vizichachi, and Kareem is already ahead of the play anyway.
Yeah, and the worst part about it too is that you don't get any turret plates, so Tiger been struggling in this early game, doesn't even get that brief reprieve of extra gold. He will have an easier time farming, as you say, with that security, but no play is to be made because Kareem, he's in the area, he's reading him like a book, Austin. Oplon can't really find any of these opportunities. I mean, Brunus finishing that Gore Drinker is a big deal. They want to look.
All right. Layers some CC. Brunus in some trouble. Has the ultimate. Won't use it just yet. Engine Wave now going to lose about half of his health bar, but will use the Unbreakable Will. Now with the backline, Vizichachi has found a knock-up onto one, but it's just Absolute. Very slippery to try to get on, but Pang has to flash away. Kareem forcing it out. Vizichachi now ends up dropping down. It's a split fight, and it's going to be GamersOrigin that really lose track of priority here in the 5v5, and that means that Team Oplon get one here in the fight.
I like this. Oplon end up pulling GamersOrigin left and right, and what that means is they're not really sure what they can focus on. They lose their tank in the process, and Darlik, he gets to walk away. Yeah, you get to steal some jungle camps, but I think ultimately that ends up being pretty positive for you here. The question is, though, is Pang going to get dived? Oh, he's just going to go for it.
Oh, Pang. Oh, he gets out there. Oh, he's feeling the pressure right now, and I mean, you typically do. Corki versus Syndra, it's not necessarily a fun one. If you can go even, fantastic, but he's been eating a lot of the punishment here thus far. The Luton's being completed, making it that much more difficult. Smiley walking up because the TP's coming in.
Hello.
Tiger, you don't have your flash here, and well, you're going to be caught in the cage because nobody is going to be able to assist you. A nice play from Vizichachi. Tiger goes down.
Yeah, really nice here. Even though you have mid-jungle resetting, the fact that you make that play onto Tiger, who's already been through the blender, Austin, is just really unfortunate here. The fact that he's got 2 kills, especially because of how that last fight went, is nice. It is that reprieve that maybe Tiger was looking for here, because he's going to be one of the big damage dealers, especially the fact that he did go the Kraken Slayer. I see that Lord Dom's being built with that last Whisper. So you just want to hopefully get to this point in the game where you get your Jinx to 2 to 3 items, and because you have Darlik, who is still going to, no matter how this early game goes, be a big tank, lots of health, stacking it up with his W passive with Wrath so that he can soak up some damage and make these plays for Oplon.
Nice kick.
Oh,
Absolute. Yeah. He is going to drop. I mean, that's just a solo. And how the Q lands again.
You're
Kareem is just on fire. Pang no flash. How about
He's
another
recalling.
one? And the recall beats down Kareem. He is showing off. He is flexing. And he is taking over the rift.
He's 6-0, Austin. This man is taking no prisoners. He's looking.
They're going again. How about a dive in the mid lane? Tiger still having to get himself out of harm's way with the flash. It might be ambitious, but they do get the tower. So Enjue pulls the trigger, uses the flash, but at least they're able to trade at the tower.
Yeah, it does end up being first tower taken down, so there's a lot of bonus gold that GamersOrigin get for themselves here, not to mention Smiley. He's taking another one in the bottom side here. Oh, thank God. I do want to see this one again. Dude, this was beautiful.
This is all him.
Dude, are you kidding me? Like yeah, sure, the ward hop kick is nice, but it's what happens after, Austin. He throws the punch before he gets the kill, and he says, buddy, what are you doing? You just serving this up for me? All right, no problem.
Oh, look at this right here.
No recall.
How about that? How about the recall? Kareem, he's really feeling himself, and this is now actually, as we switch back over to live, Team Oplon want to get their hands on one of these dragons.
Might be able to.
Now Absolute's going to pull the trigger. Looks like a 3-man charm, but he is going to need the ultimate. And now you've lost your support, but can they get it? They do. The dragon is secured, but at what cost? Your AD carry caught out in the open. Jinx is down. Tiger no longer here to assist. Pang doing what he can, but he has to retreat. And is he even going to be safe? Vizichachi's going to do the slow walk and try and chase him down, but you've lost 3. But at least you get the dragon. However, I think GamersOrigin very happy with this exchange.
Yeah, it couldn't be better at this point. They still are up a dragon, and now they're up so much gold, about 5,000 here, and you can see it. It's spread out all across the team with the exception of Kareem, who's got a nice chunk of change in his back pocket because of how well he's been playing early. He's already at that second item long before everybody else, and we saw it with that Steric Shield coming through. Kareem has become very, very difficult to kill, and considering the damage he's able to output and how he's able to execute some of these targets, this game is getting very difficult for Oplon.
Listen, Beatdown, I know while we were prepping for this week, you were really talking up GamersOrigin.
I was.
Listen, there is a type of confidence that comes with beating a team like KC last week, especially in the fashion that they did it. They were going toe-to-toe in the team fights. Ronaldo had just an exceptional performance on that Akali. And obviously the ban coming in here in the draft to make sure he doesn't get that back. He's not necessarily the big star player of this game, but he's setting up a lot of the stuns, and it is all set up for Kareem, set up now for Smiley as well, who has just been quietly scaling, has that second item. LDR also going to be locked in to help shred through some of the tankier members now on the side of Team Oplon. But like you said, the gold lead getting a little bit out of control now at about 5,000, 6,000 now, and they're starting to just take more and more resources that Herald was just picked up, and they can start to look at taking now some of the tier 2s on the map.
Yeah, the front to back for GamersOrigin, it is quite strong, and they are far enough ahead that they have all the damage they need to rip apart their targets. And this is what I like about how GamersOrigin have been drafting since that KC win, the fact that they are playing more towards Smiley, who I think now has been really showing a lot of improvements since week 1 here. Of course, the whole team has been doing so, but I like this. Visit Chachi, you're putting him on this Ord. He's doing an exceptional job here, getting the CS lead, getting the team fight set up, and you just make the game easier for Ronaldo, for Smiley, who have just been popping off these last couple of games.
Well, Team Oplon, they unfortunately have only ever been good in the first 20 minutes of the games. This is where they actually tend to fall off, even with leads coming into the mid-game. So I can't imagine things are going to get any easier here for them. Coming into now, past 20 minutes, and Baron live active on the map. Herald, we'll see where that ends up going. This is Chachi. Has some members around, but the ward is going to spot out Brunus in Absolute. It's going to get them good information, and now maybe a play on the mid lane. Tiger knows maybe something is up, and he's going to immediately back up. Yeah,
I think that's the call, and I'm glad they don't overcommit to Visit Chachi. Baron being up and all the members being topside, it means that would be an easy Baron for GamersOrigin to pick up. Problem is now, because of that commitment to that side, it's an easy tier 2 pickup that's going to come through here. The Rift Herald, rather. Second one is going to come through. Darlic, he's doing his best to clear the wave, but it's all for naught, Austin. Shelly is going to charge. That's more gold into GamersOrigin's pocket, and even if there isn't another charge from the Herald, I mean, ultimately, all these outer towers are starting to fall for the side of Oplon, and it's getting very, very difficult to walk out of their base. And Austin, you know what makes it worse? I want you to guess what makes it worse.
They have no towers themselves here. The Chemtech Rift.
Chemtech Rift. That's exactly what it is. You know how
listing off things.
Yeah. Dude, you know how terrible it feels when you're behind to have to walk through that damn fog.
It's not fun, man. It's not fun because you just have no idea where they are, and you got to start investing in blue wards, pink wards, you name it, but maybe a play on the bot side.
Yeah, found him.
Kareem will get jumped on. Brunus won't be able to find the knock-up. Absolute over the wall, but is on vision. Here's the kick. They're going to find the jungler. Brunus in some trouble, and the kick works out beautifully. They'll find the jungler, and they can continue their push through the bot lane.
Oh, the confidence, Austin. It's just oozing. They're going to keep on pushing this.
Curtain call opens up. Just going to be tanked up mainly by Darlic. Should be fine. Smiley holds the last shot. But with the wave being cleared, I think GamersOrigin are going to be happy with what they got. They find a pick, they find a tower, and now they can back down and start taking more resources.
That's it. You're just going to start taking camps, making it so difficult for Brunus to ever manage to close this enormous gold lead that's there between him and Kareem, him and anybody on the side of GamersOrigin, realistically. I think the only chance he has now is being ahead of Enjoy on the Alistar. So now the big thing, with the fact that you've lost so much pressure on the map, is that another dragon is popping off. And Austin, we worry about Chemtech Rift. How about Chemtech Soul? GamersOrigin will get that soul point, as I can't imagine a world where they lose priority over this dragon.
I can't imagine it. I mean, Team Oplon did end up securing the last one, which puts them in a good spot where it's like, okay, we could concede this one. Yes, they'll be on soul point, but it gives us a bit more time for our Jinx to try and get some more gold, work towards items, because at this point in time, you're looking at Jinx to be the main carry, and there it is. How about an LDR coming in here, making things just a tad bit easier overall, and now you're looking at, you know, the Corky, who had to opt in for a $1,300 buy in the Hex Drinker just to make sure he's not getting one shot here from the Unleashed Power.
Oh my God, Kareem.
Oh, you never know what Kareem's about to do, especially in a game like this where he's 6-0-4. I think Darlic was not the ideal target, obviously, here, so he's not going to pull the trigger, and they're now just going to move back over to this dragon.
All right, Austin, I want you to indulge with me for a moment. I got some copium here. I need you to take some as well so you can hear what I'm about to say. All right, Oplon have a chance.
Okay, I was not expecting that.
I know, it's a small chance, but if they stole that dragon, it would have been a nutty
Imagine
chance.
you said that while they had a chance.
I mean, first of all, I would have PayPal Tiger or something. I don't even know. But the small chance lies in the fact that Tiger, that very same AD carry on the Jinx, has 2 items. Jinx, big spike for this champion.
True.
I still stand by the fact that Darlic is a big, beefy boy. Look at that health bar. It's just sickening. And the fact that if you can get the front to back, if you can get some of those precious seconds for Tiger to start coming out with those rockets, coming out with that damage, especially when you have Kraken and LDR, like that DPS is not something to laugh at, Austin. There is a world where if Tiger can dodge some of the CC and just continue outputting damage, then Oplon can win a fight.
All right, I'm picking up what you're laying down right now, Pizza.
The copium's working. I like it.
I can see a world where that happens, but
yes.
Tiger's got to play just out of his mind. And I think the biggest problem with this is, like we highlighted, the Chemtech Rift. You just don't know if they're on Baron, which means that you have to go through the lane. But Wave, has he misplayed? He has actually eaten quite a bit of damage. It uses the ultimate. Going in now is going to be Brunez. Forces out the flash from Ronaldo. And now Kareem with a massive shutdown is going to go into the stopwatch. But Vizicachi coming down on the flank. But Kareem with the outplay has taken down Brunez. And now Vizicachi, they can't deal with them. They can't even touch that health bar, as it's going to be GamersOrigin running down the likes of Team Oplon. They stand no chance. It looked good at the start, but it ends horribly.
Oh, no amount of copium can see the good in that situation, Austin. Oplon, that was the best fight they've had all game long, and they couldn't even kill the Alistar. That Unbreakable will expires, but he manages to walk away from the fight. What does that mean? 10k up. It's about to be 11 with this Baron coming through. GamersOrigin have all the tools to close this one out and get closer to an even scoreline and wins.
Well, I don't know how much copium you got left there, Beatdown.
None, it's gone.
It's gone. Tank is empty. And now the Baron pit is also about to be empty, as that is going to be the buff secured. The gold lead is just out of control, looking at 11,000 right now. And that is just absolutely insane, as we'll take another look back at this fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is so unfortunate. Enjoy, they chunk him down. You can see the DPS coming through, but I think it's because Ronaldo does a pretty good job, flashes away, and kind of what happened to GamersOrigin early on, where Oplon kind of had their attention pulled left and right, rather, and because of that, it actually ended up playing really well for GamersOrigin. They managed to put the CC through. They got rid of Tiger very early on. Big win con for this team, and because he couldn't get the position to actually do any damage, just getting taken out like that means there was nothing to be done for Oplon.
Well, I mean, we've seen base defenses, excuse me, before here from Team Oplon. They did it against Team Vitality. They did have the Jhin that time around, but this one, they were not this far behind. Now they're going to pull the Schrager, unstoppable onslaught right into the queue. They find a lot of damage here. The Charm is also going to take down Ronaldo. Kareem forced back. They don't have Vizicachi. Team Oplon might have found their window. Can they get more? Kareem dashes away. Now the flank from Vizicachi in the backline. They're starting to cut away. It's a 4v5, but it's looking like GamersOrigin might have enough of a lead to be able to swing this one back. 4 versus 4. Darlic out of the fight. Time to open up the curtain calls and show us the show, as it's Pang that drops next. GamersOrigin, it looked dicey, but ultimately they find a 2-for-1 and now break into the base.
Beautifully done team fight from GamersOrigin, being able to only lose one member and win out this 4v5. Again, constantly pulling attention. If you watch that fight, Vizicachi uses the Ornhorn on Tiger to make sure Tiger isn't sure what he wants to do. Maybe they find Vizicachi, but no damage from Tiger. It's not enough.
Oh, you lost Absolute. They find the damage, and Absolute is just so squishy at this point in the game. The TP is coming in. GamersOrigin looks like they might want to end it. Let's see if they're going to pull the trigger. They're just going to TP in. They're going to take the mid inhibitor, but they're not going to go for it just yet. They are going to back down. So Team Oplon, they get to hold on just a tad bit longer.
Yeah, still though, how much longer is going to be the question here. You do see the, okay, that would have actually been the kill secure onto Enjoy, which would have been nice. But ultimately, you got a successful Baron power play coming here for GamersOrigin. They're up 12,000 gold, Austin. It's just ridiculous. And how well they're playing these team fights, even from disadvantageous positions, it's going to make this one tough. And we're here, Austin. We're at this very difficult position that Oplon find themselves in. The Dragon Soul is coming up. That, if anything else, is the nail in the coffin. They know they have to fight for this, and you can already see them moving in.
Oh, they're moving in all right. And
look who's
Team
moving
Oplon
in.
About to
no way.
Say hello.
You wouldn't.
You think for a second. Kareem is 8-0-7. That's a 1K bounty over his head. The same with Smiley. I mean, those are massive bounties you can get, but I mean, finding them has been the difficulty, and now the Dragon Soul looks like it should be secured. There it is. Smite comes down, and now you got to worry about a Chemtech Soul on top of it all. Things just getting more and more difficult, and they have 2 minion waves moving in. You have the supers here beat down. Everything is playing against Team Oplon, and Tiger doesn't have his flash up just yet.
Yeah, no Baron buff available for GamersOrigin anymore, but realistically, it doesn't matter. Pang is on the recall. Brunez only just now finishes his 2nd item, and this is it. GamersOrigin, they're gonna push for the end. They all have Scion passives. It's not just you, Darlic.
It's not just Darlic anymore. Let's see what Pang can do. He's got the package, and they're stalling it out for now. Clearing the wave, doing a good job. GamersOrigin, they're playing it slow, but are they going to be able to pull the trigger? We'll see exactly if Pang wants to move in here. They might be waiting for this package to expire before they do anything. But now Kareem tries to make the play, but it's more or less just a bait. Right back out he goes, but now unstoppable onslaught. Darlic is right in the mix of it. Here comes Jachi with the ultimate, but it does get canceled, so he doesn't find the knockup. But Pang is down. Brunez is isolated. Kareem's going to assist. They'll find the jungler. They are too far ahead. That is 3 players going down. GamersOrigin. They are coming into week 3 looking fierce, looking good, looking strong as they dive the fountain, and now they just need to take down the Nexus Terrors to secure their 2nd win here in the LFL.
And GamersOrigin, in doing so, continue this upward momentum we're seeing from this team. Beautifully executed, minute 1 to minute 30. Excellent game from this team.
Oh man, GamersOrigin coming in with a different confidence here.